got in the bottom right-hand side of this best-of-5 playoff matchup from the Masters Coliseum. I can't remember. This from the lower bracket. I can't remember what part it's from. I'm trying not to... I did roughly follow Masters Coliseum over the weekend. Kind of hard not to when you're at a StarCraft event, but this was in like top 8, maybe top 6 or so in the lower bracket. Obviously, winner gets to keep that lower bracket run alive. As we have it in the bottom right-hand side, the blue Protoss player from Storm, it is MaxPax. I'm just going to have to take one quick moment just to turn those to damaged, and the game will go on. And in the top left-hand side, our red Zerg from Basilisk is Serral. As we get ready for the ZvP best of 5, MaxPax Serral. Last few times, I mean, the one time that stands out for me is obviously the best of 7 finals in the European regionals that happened maybe not so long ago. And that one was really interesting to me because I really expected MaxPax to come in swing with a whole bunch of different things. And he actually kind of just went for the same kind of build into kind of the Stargates and stuff a lot, and into a lot of just a lot more kind of a slower pace game than I expected him to a lot of the time. That was a very interesting best of 7 series that they played then. Obviously, Serral did come out on top that time around. And as here, we do have Hatch Gas and Spawning Pool coming up, so getting this underway, getting things rolling. Really early few minutes. And we've seen our early probe scout is obviously not too weird here. Opening up on Grezvan is obviously quite a nice map as well to potentially see something like what I just suggested, that kind of longer game where you maybe see MaxPax aim for the carriers. I specifically say aim for the carriers in terms of, like, obviously all Protoss players, if they get into a long game, they aim for that. But I wonder if his plan from the start may lead him towards that Sky Toss style rather than anything else. So yeah, we'll see if he kind of aims for it early, or if he just sort of naturally gets there, or if the game doesn't go there at all. Let's do get ourselves a couple drones coming out, Queen on the way, Nexus is building up as well, so just getting that going. Hope Gate will start, the Stargate going down also. And just going to be seeing the Zergling speed getting started up as well on the side of Serral. So getting speed on the way. That one Adept trying to chase a Zergling down in the early stages as well. The Adept going to go up, is going to go and pick away at one, and probably 2 lings. So Serral getting in for some information. He will spot the building Stargate, so information gathering is nice. That's a nice Stargate to spot as well, because this Warp Gate started before Stargate, which is a little bit of a fake out, right? Usually you cancel Warp Gate and get the Stargate slightly quicker with that additional 50 gas, because you don't need Warp Gate so quickly. So to go Stargate after Warp Gate's a little bit of a mind game, when in reality, this is going to be, you know, then Serral decides to scout, so it's the perfect choice to scout, basically, right? Well, Adepts will go chasing forward, shading into the natural, head toward the main base, perhaps. A few Zerglings are going to be there, wrapping around potential Adept position. Yeah, Adepts coming over. There's a little bit of creep going down. We are going to be seeing these Adepts and a couple of kills. Continuing to shade back out and around to the right-hand side. So escaping over there for the moment. We do have our Ling speed coming up. A couple of Queens, Lings, a few drones. Everything looking pretty regular across the board at the moment here in this game 1. Really nothing to really point out across the board, right? It's truly kind of standard at all stages here for now, as we do have this Oracle. He's going to come around. He's aiming towards the upper left-hand side, aiming towards the main base. Couple of Queens. Going to get some shots off. Oracle will take a few hits of damage. Nothing too major, though. As the Oracle is going to activate, gets rid of a lava. And we're going to turn back around, getting one more drone right there as well. And the Oracle's still staying pretty active for the moment here. Obviously, the Oracles are just expected to be kept active. Very standard way to kind of set things out, as we just have ourselves a little bit of motion here and there. Units moving around for these early stages, trying to figure out what exactly it is that we're trying to get done across the board in this, as we just have ourselves a Twilight Council, a +1 attack upgrade. All the good stuff continuing in on the side of MaxPax. Couple of Stalkers still on the way as well. That Oracle number... Is that number 3 just now finishing? Yeah, Oracle number 3 finishing up. Serral is also going to opt to show us the melee upgrades. He's going to take us into the melee upgrade, going to take us into that Ling Heavy style for a little bit, and just see where we can go from there, as a couple of drones do go down. Protron still coming up, halfway done. The hatchery is building already as well. And this Oracle on the left-hand side is going to come across. It's going to sit above this hatch and moving toward the natural. Continue to move forwards. Again, 9 drones going to come up as well. Serral has got no reason not to be droning. He doesn't feel like there's any sort of true attack coming his way. There's 4 Stalkers and 2 Adepts that are going to poke forward with these couple Oracles, but that should be fairly manageable. It's not the kind of army that's going to march into a mineral line and start wrecking a base or wrecking a whole bunch of drones if you're not careful or anything of that sort. As a couple crew teamers go down, we'll get a stasis ward in the center. Sample Archives coming up about halfway done. Charge coming through. The +1 attack upgrade coming in. And our Zerglings get caught immediately by that stasis. Charge about halfway done. +1 will finish in just a few. We got ourselves the Stalkers. We're going to protect a 4th base. I mean, really he is fairly passive. Once we see Charge, maybe we'll see a bit more activity on the Protoss side on the ground. We'll see the melee upgrade. I don't expect that's going to trigger anything from Serral that he's not already doing. I expect that melee upgrade to just be continued into +2, get that bailing speed on the go, and just continue general tech towards that kind of swarming mid-game position. A lot of Lings around the right side. Starting to make a little bit of a move forward there. Adepts and Stalkers in position immediately to deal with those few units that try to make their approach. And I'm just going to be having the +2 melee upgrade, the roach speed, all of this coming up as well. As these Lings continue through, and just going to go one more time forward. A couple different mineral lines. Oh, we're going to get rid of an Oracle, actually. Going to grab one Oracle and just going to be seeing the Storm still coming up, the few extra High Templar coming through. I mean, obviously, MaxPax with the Storm on the way, going to make it pretty easy for him to deal with Ling Bane-based armies, which is the majority of what Serral's setting up for at the moment, so... Serral's also got the Lurker Den on the way, so he's not going to be fully set on just Ling Bane or anything. He has got a deeper plan of action for this first opening map. Wardy, do I know if replays will be released anywhere for Masters Coliseum? I don't know. They haven't told me I can't send them out. Basically, my usual rule for myself is that if they haven't told me to not send the replays out to subs and stuff, then I will just send the replays out. So, my replay pack will have the majority of these in, probably. Maybe not, like... It's funny, but maybe not, like, specifically this day and the couple days that I missed, even though I have the replays. Because then, in my eyes, I wasn't there to collect the replays. They're not mine, if that makes sense. Because then I'm kind of, like, collecting replays, not just to cast myself, but also give out. It's a little bit weird, you know? So you'll see most of them in my replay pack, I guess, when I do one, probably soon. But I don't know if there's an official release of the replays. I don't know if that's something the Chinese organizers really focus on or do or anything, you know? Reminds me, I actually need to put my Green Royale replays on the Google Drive for people that have the perk. I'll make a note of that. Oops. Where are we going? We are off and away right there. We're on a journey. On a journey. Alright, well, there's going to be seeing a few Zealots show up. Already a bit of harassment coming in. Going to be a lot more Zealots coming in as well. What's Serral's response to this going to be looking like? There's going to be seeing our Zealots going around. Archon's going to go straight in towards these couple of spines. We're going to get a Storm coming out. There's going to be seeing another Storm coming down. A couple more drones going down as well. 12 workers being killed. Once you have the Zealots continue to fight on forward. And that is going to be a pretty successful attack, right? I mean, a couple good Storms. We're going to see ourselves 12 drones dead. I'd say that's a pretty reasonable way of getting things going here. So not a bad start in the slightest. Keep picking 2 more Stargates still on the way through. And so just bring those up. And you're going to see our +1 armor upgrade about to finish. +3 attack is continuing to produce as well. As we have ourselves the Adrenal, the Carapace, the missiles. All those upgrades still just ticking along here for the moment. Slug's going to power up and they're in a good position to hit some of these Archons and all the rest, so Neon's just going to have to take a couple of steps back for a moment or so there. Just back away, stay fairly safe. Uh-oh, that's a High Templar getting caught and getting killed, so that's just going to be a death. So that HT goes down pretty swiftly. Well, you can see those Archons are kind of thinking about just coming through, but that's a hell of a choke point, which works both ways. It's a hell of a choke to push into Lurkers against. It's a hell of a choke for Lings to run into Storm against, so both sides of that are going to take a little bit of a clash. That ain't going to be the most fun couple of moments there. Well, the Prism dead as well. Nice catch for Serral. Taking that away from MaxPax is pretty much always going to be a big benefit. Is Serral not max, but he has a bank, and he's probably just waiting to decide what exactly it is he wants to build as well. Like, this is not a world where Serral's just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to let my money float. Like, he's specifically either waiting for the Spire to finish, or he's still just trying to see what his opponent has, and then he's going to decide what exactly to build. He adds a few more Lings here, but he still has the money, and he still has the lava to add further into this as the Tempest production comes through. So we are going to go Tempest as an initial way to deal with these Lurkers. How does that work? Well, Tempest obviously can shoot the Lurkers from afar, which is nice. A lot of the time against the Lurkers, it's pretty good to just go Carriers. The problem is, Carriers take obviously much longer to build, so if MaxPax wasn't set up already, going Tempest is the more immediate response against the Lurkers, and from there, he's probably going to hope he can start to introduce some Carriers into play and start really melding this kind of later game Protoss army into the kind of dream Skytoss composition that you usually expect Protoss players to aim for when it goes to a super late game scenario. So I imagine that's his plan. This is very much much more of a crap Lurkers need something right now rather than oh yeah, Tempest on my absolute go-to. Like I said, I'd be surprised if he stuck to Tempest for the entirety of this game. He will continue to get a Tempest count build up right now. I mean, Tempest is also going to be good against Broods if they make an appearance. I'm just a little bit worried that Tempests don't quite have the real firepower of Carriers in certain scenarios as well, but maybe with the kind of army that Serral is building, Tempests will actually stand up for themselves better than I'm kind of making out, because like I say, it's not just the Lurkers, there'll be Broodlords, but those are two things which then the Tempests are great against. Oftentimes when you're fighting against Lurkers, there's still like a lot of Hydras and ground army, so then the Carriers are just much more effective and much more necessary. Or just, I guess, maybe not even necessary, but just better in general. But yeah, maybe in this kind of scenario, it's actually not going to be so bad to be focusing on the Tempest. These Roaches show up looking as though they would like to try and get rid of this base, which I think is pretty reasonable assumption that he can do so. One Archon in the back and a couple Stalkers derp, and if they were actually just in front of the base, it probably wouldn't have gone down, but that's just MaxPax not quite paying attention to that location when it came under attack at the right time, and that is unfortunately going to be a little bit costly for him. As now we get our Lurker defense still set up nicely, hard to break into that at all, as MaxPax very difficult to justify making a move on that kind of a position or so. As you see, one Overlord going to get sniped down by Tempest and Archons alike. The Nidus will go down as well. MaxPax continuing to fight to maintain position over on the right-hand side of the map and to keep on setting up over there. Serral is sitting quite comfortably on his own half of the map, and both players are at something of a... not quite a standstill, I suppose, but we're definitely in a position where it's not going anywhere too quickly. We are making moves, you know, Tempest are chipping through stuff, but it is going to be tough to kind of move into your opponent's set of bases on both sides, and that's why it's going to be some slower moves, some Tempest shots, etc., to try and leverage that position. When you see the Corruptors trying to take advantage of a fungal, massive storms to get rid of one Tempest. Do we really want to sit here? Two Tempests go down? Man, a lot of those Corruptors extremely low, but it worked out. They got a bunch of Tempests, and a lot of them not going down is actually incredible. How many died? 6. Okay, so if a few did go down, one more storm, and then there would have been like 6 more, and then I would dare to say that that wasn't a good trade for Serral. Obviously, in this case, it probably was pretty much just fine. As you see the couple of Tempest shots coming out, the Archons are there, the Lings continue to get bullied around a little bit. Yes, Cannon's still getting a few shots off as well as we chase Lings out and around the map. +3 melee, +2 carapace coming up too as our cannons fire onto a few more Zerglings. They continue to take some shots working around the right-hand side as we have cannons on the way up in the top right corner. It's going to allow you to really get a bit more defense going as our Tempests and the Archons continue to chip away at whatever they can find over the next few moments as well. +2 armor about to finish. We've got the +2 flyer attacks and the air weapons on the way from our Protoss. Still bringing that in as our Tempests go bang, bang, bang onto those Spore Crawlers. More drones continue to be picked away at. Archons are chilling. Just going to see our Sportal still taking some shots. Observer is going to go down. Broodlords are on the way. This is going to be a few more drones getting nabbed at the very end here. Our mothership still up overhead, as you see the Lurkers able to do very well against these Stalkers, getting some good damage dealt. Now I'm going to finish off this hatchery. And the army of MaxPax will settle back toward the middle of the map. One Stasis Ward catches a couple of Lurkers already. Just getting a good catch there to start us off. Again, additional Stargates coming through. This army working around the bottom left-hand side. We are going to go for a big push in. Archon's Immortals looking to try and make a dive onto this position. Fungal Growth is going to come out as well. Tempest numbers just keep on rising. Additional Stargates coming up. We do have the Lurkers still trying to press into position. Cannon's doing decently as one cannon goes down. Just going to be seeing everything else pushing forward here. The Lurker gets picked off. This army still fighting. Quite a lot of drones really taking a lot of shots, as we do have our Broodlords making an advance as well. Fungal Growth going down on top of everything. Broodlords getting some good Broodling shots down. Just going to see a couple High Templars still trying to stand and fight. Another Storm coming in. Oh, those Infestors just ran through the Storm, taking quite a bit of damage. A couple Infestors actually went down to that Storm as we eventually recall out with a few units. The duels so far, resources lost about even, about 2k difference favoring MaxPax. That's not really kind of super outstanding. That's not really super expensive or anything. I feel like it's a fairly reasonable place to be at. As you're going to see, this one Lurker just needs to be dealt with. Do we have detection? No. How much detection do we have on the map? There are 3 observers around. We just need to get one of them over here and helping. In the bottom left, there is a Zart run by that's going to be met by the chunk of Lurkers, so that will not go anywhere. I won't even get some starting damage done to the hatchery. As finally the observer shows up to clean this up. Maybe if we actually had an observer here, we could have maybe had a Lurker, but it's obviously an unrealistic expectation with so many spores nearby as well. And just kind of a weird place to have an observer. Why would you have an observer over the base you're sending harassing units to? Well, I guess for that kind of a reason, I suppose, sure, but... +3 flyer attack on the way up. Air weapons, that is, from MaxPax, as we do continue to sit very much so on this same composition, by the way. I kind of said maybe we'll move away from the Tempest, but he clearly likes it, and like I say, I feel like with the army I'm looking at, I think I kind of like it too, you know? There's not so much on the ground. There's not much here that's really like, oh my god, that's why the Tempests are going to suck. Actually, the Tempests do pretty well against Lurkers, Broods, and, you know, maybe sniping Infestors from a distance, Corruptors if they stay far enough away. I don't hate what there actually is here, as long as we can deal with the Corruptors, I suppose. It's going to be seeing our Overlord heading over the right-hand side. And it's going to get picked off, taken down in a few moments, and we'll have ourselves the Lings running into the top right-hand corner too. Just going to go after a pylon and just a few other bits and bobs. Just going to get a bit more damage done there as our Lings then back away. Come back over this side, and then just going to go straight after a couple of assimilators. So, assimilators, gas is taking some damage. Try and chip through those as our Mortal Archon High Templar Force settles down as well. Two more Infestors on the way out. The few Zealots are going to get chased into the center again. These attempted run-bys are becoming worse and worse for MaxPax. Not for anything that he is doing, just for the fact that Serral seems so well set up against them. It seems like less and less potential is really there for the Zealots to begin with, so they're just getting shut down before they really reach anywhere. Not having a good time in that regard. Showing up and a few probes going down on the top side of the map. 13 workers. As we work our way through that Nexus, a few Tempers and some shots off. One look and realizes, hey, yo, you don't have detection again. He's going to kill some High Templar. At least one High Templar dies here, right? One. We're looking for number 2. Gets the Adept instead. The High Templar actually gets to a battery in the end, but that lurker, if nothing else, it just takes a few seconds of attention to deal with, and that's just going to, be one thing that MaxPax has to start, keep on looking at. Serral can completely forget about it, and Serral aims to make a play down through this bottom side, and that's exactly what he's doing now. Making a play through this bottom direction, looking to get through on top of this space and further. 20 minutes here so far on Grezvan. As we just have our Broodlords backing it up. The Archons on the way. A few of these changelings getting picked off as well. Additional Archons will finish. And this army of MaxPax continues to settle down on the bottom side of the map. The army of MaxPax now splitting across to the top as well, so both kind of players deciding just the sort of approach to take here. As well. See a couple shots going off on an Overlord, so Overlord will take a few bits of damage as well. And 20 minutes deep, we really do finally kind of have things properly settling down for a while, I would say. So that's a couple of Nexus on the way up, so MaxPax expanding. He is taking every single base on the map that is supposed to be his. Serral is not taking any areas that MaxPax should be holding himself. In fact, Serral is the one that's missing the base still. The one to the right of his main is untaken. That's one which you would like to get up, as that's going to be annoying. Lurkers in the main base. If you do have aliens, it's not like when you play against Terran, and sometimes, yeah, I guess you have Liberators also to deal with this. But like, you can bring Tempest back to deal with this. Obviously, pulling it back is kind of an annoyance, but you know, when I see this play against Terran, I'm like, oh my god, that's real bad. Because if they don't have Liberator count up in high numbers, the Lurkers do so much. In this case, like I say, the Tempest should get the job done. We are going to see Serral respecting that and just picking up and backing away. He's going to move away from that one as we do go after the Overseer just a little bit longer. A Dark Shrine will finish in just a few moments. A couple Nexus still building. The cannons are on the way up. A couple Ultras coming through, plus 3 flyer attacks on the way as well, so again, Serral's later game. Continue to get Serral. The Ultras are nice just to run forward and tank some of the shots. They're, you know, exactly like this. Look at all these hits the Ultra is taking, so then the Lurkers can move further forward and just really make a play on this base. Ultras are very good in these kind of scenarios. They're expensive units to just be kind of like sacrificial lambs, but they actually work extremely well as sacrificial lambs. So, because they take so long to be sacrificed, you know. As the Infestor's looking for something. It's going to be an starting fungal. Do we have any bigger of a fight coming out from this? Time Warp goes down. MaxPax is going to get engaged into Storms to zone out the Infestor's. Beautiful positioning when it comes to MaxPax trying to recover here. Great second Time Warp. Slows the Infestors. If only there was any follow-up for him, he might have something to say about this, but I don't think there is, and MaxPax is going to lose his air army. Well, now he's going to start rebuilding Void Rays as the Tempest count gets taken down. We've only got 5 Lurkers left, so maybe now Void Rays are the better choice. You can deal with the Corruptors, then you only have to shoot through Broodlords after. Once there's no Corruptors, Broodlords really can be taken on by pretty much anything, so then it's not really much of an issue or so, right? Broodlords picking up a few more kills, a few probes keep on going down. 5 Void Rays still in production, the carriers are still being brought up. That's the first carrier of the game, in fact, being started. Are we actually going to get to a higher carrier count here? Is that eventually where we end up on now that things have kind of, you know, changed and kind of mixed up over time? Maybe that is part of the goal now, is carry our Oracle both on the way through. I'm just going to be seeing the couple of Archons there, just going to sit around as well. Six cannons currently on the way out. Just going to be seeing our Ultras on the upper right side. There's a Prism here that's going to get shoved away. It's just got some Zealots inside, but obviously it's been a while since we've really seen Zealot harassment doing much. Like I say, Serral's been very on top of the run-bys, very on top of any Prism play. That one base there is the one that Serral can't quite hold on to, but same for MaxPax. He does not have that base in the south right now for himself, so without that, they are equal on bases. Resources loss is now favoring Serral as well, so he's the one that's found a bit more efficiency over time. Specifically losing that Tempest army is probably quite the expense. You see the graphs dip down, you can see where it's quite painful when the Tempest died about a minute ago. And just not too much died in, on Serral's side at the same time as you do see the Broods. Struck at here. Again, the single carry, we're actually back at 6 Tempests as well, so despite the fact we've lost 9, we still have 6 Tempests up. We've got some Void Rays supporting units right now also. Corruptors come in, knock down a carrier, a couple more Tempest shots going out. Corruptors getting chased out of here. Corruptors being kept at bay as well. Void Rays are still coming through with the Prism. And, you know, the Tempest still taking shots and damage as we speak. Archons and the Voids are there to push those Corruptors back one more time. Infestors and a couple of Vipers coming out. Voids and the High Templar building through also. Serral is completely maxed out. I haven't really stopped to talk about the banks. They've both just been mining pretty comfortably with, good work count throughout the game. Serral sits at 12k, 8k, and almost 9k gas banked up. 9k, 4k for MaxPax, so much less. Remember, he has had to trade more throughout. And typically, you would expect a pros to mine a bit less as well, so the only thing to kind of note there is that maybe Serral's base will mine out sooner, and MaxPax will have a bit more mining. He just hasn't mined as much as quickly, although now that they're on even work accounts, there shouldn't be any necessary income advantage. Income's about similar. You can see Serral just had a surge in the last 6-7 minutes. And that's probably where a lot of his bank building has come from, that MaxPax hasn't quite got himself. That combined with the efficiency that Serral found in some of these fights, as that's a few Brood Lords in some trouble. Those Voids finding the chance to get on top of a couple of those and shut a few of them down already. Pros going down. I guess it's going to be there. Serral had already taken a few shots. The carrier is going to get a few hits off as well. Again, a couple of Broods are going to be popping out. Still got some more Void Rays coming out too. Our Corruptors still coming up also here. As our Archon's going to go in after this hatchery. Hatchery will go down. A bit of a skirmish on the top side. These Ultras are going to go diving in. And not going to fight too much. Again, definitely a bit of a stale-matey position, right? Where neither player is really easily able to kind of make big plays at this point. Corruptors just show up. Void Ray is going to get turned away. Couple cannons, the Void, the Oracle coming up. Find a cancel over here. I think it's important to keep these bases down as best you can. If you can keep those bases down, then you can also look towards kind of maybe taking one of those bases yourself still. Most importantly, if you don't mine from it, your opponent don't mine from it. That's got to be a rule you stand by. MaxPax is the player that needs to find some amount of efficiency as well. He's 9,000 resources lost behind. So if anything, he really needs to stop Serral mining more than just that base there. He needs to mine a base and not let Serral mine a base, or start taking some better fights. I can imagine a world where some of the fights later in this game do favor MaxPax in terms of efficiency. That maxed out Protoss army is terrifying, let's be realistic, right? It's very, very scary. It has a lot of power in it, and the Zerg army can melt in seconds if you're not careful. Of course, this is Serral, he's probably not going to let his army do that, but I do think there's some hope in that regard. But obviously help yourself out in every way possible. Don't let Serral mine an extra base than you do, because that's just creating more work to be done when it comes to trying to fight the army in as good a way as possible. Archon's Immortal, the Templars poking around on the top. MaxPax trying to see if there's an opening over here. He will not find much of anything just yet as our Void Rays will activate. Zap, zap, zap. Take a few lurkers out, and I like the idea. They turned away before the Corruptors got there. Unfortunately, the Vipers still got in range. And they did reach out for a few abducts. That's just going to land Fungal on the Archon. Couple shots coming out, overseas again, Chase. Only still cells on the bottom. There's going to be a few shots, pylon going down. A couple of Tempest shots coming out. Just going to army coming through. Bang, bang with a couple of Tempest hits. MaxPax's gas count is seemingly dropping off a cliff a little bit, right? Only 3k in the bank. I don't know if he's mining much gas right now. 600 or so. Okay, so he still has some gas income. Serral has less gas income, but obviously has more gas banked up. Could be a game that comes down to the gas remaining. Let's come up. Just going to be seeing Tempest getting a few shots as well. One comes up around the top. A couple of corruptors just going to get shot at again. We're just going to be coming out. Archons, Tempest coming around. The High Templar still producing. Brood's going to drop some shots on the top. Again, these bases are still yet to be taken on either side. You can see that MaxPax is trying to get something set up over on this direction. It's just going to be having Naomi on the top, working around. These broodlings can get shot down pretty easily. MaxPax still working some air armor upgrades. It's pretty much max upgrades otherwise, plus 3 shields even in play. Yeah, armor is one you rarely see really come to fruition, but it is one that will definitely help as time ticks along. Ling's Ultra is going to make a dive in for a couple of cannons. The super battery, the Ultra's going to town already. As the pile and the super battery get picked off, there's going to be C9 Lings continuing to wrap around here, and this Nexus is going to get taken down, so that is going to be a cleanup on the side of Serral. I mean, the biggest issue about losing this base, it's not like this base has resources left on it, or, you know, barely any resources left on it. The point is that base now is less of a connector to the base which we've been talking about all game. And so Serral might be able to get that one without there just being a Nexus there that can maybe back up with a super battery or other things. It's a nice fungal catch. He does feel like MaxPax. This is maybe his biggest issue. Bleeding out units like this is extremely expensive when he's so gas-starved as well compared to his opponent in terms of what's in the bank. I think that is the big issue. So yeah, Lang is trying to dive up to the top. Archon and the Immortal going to be there. Just going to smash back a few of those units straight away. I have got our Tempest coming up. Carrier on the way. We've had this like single carrier added a couple of times now. I think it's actually like a mistake or a misclick because I feel like I've seen it on the way like a few times over, and yet I've never seen him actually want to build anything more than just the one that he starts up, you know? I definitely see him as like more of a mistake than anything else. Why would you enter this stage of the game against Serral? Well, sometimes it's hard to not enter this stage of the game, right? If the Zerg is defending well everywhere, sometimes it's very difficult to justify kind of trying to end the game before that. Arguably, if MaxPax was able to be a little bit better at preserving his units, then I actually don't think he'd be having such a bad time. I think it is the fungals that are trapping some Tempests and getting free kills, basically, that are really the big issue. That's where a lot of Serral's efficiency has come from, the 16k resource difference. Well, that's actually kind of a crazy amount of efficiency that Serral has had. 19 Tempests dead in the game. 17 Observers died as well. That's like, you know, almost 2k resources in itself. Going to be seeing our units pressing forward. You're going to see one Void Ray going down. 11 probes are dropping. Brood's getting chased. The Infestor's going to land a money fungal on the Void. Do we have any follow-up from this high ground Infestor setup? Apparently not. Bit of a shame just because it was kind of a cool way to start. It's going to be seeing our Corruptors coming through. Going to get rid of both those Voids now. And just having a Tempest still on the way out. Corruptors still building. A few more Broodlords coming in. Ultras are meanwhile counter-attacking. And of course, slowly but surely, Serral is going to break his way through in towards the main base and in towards the production lines of MaxPax, and that really starts to checkmate. There's our Ultras coming around, our Banelings setting up. Boys coming forward, just going to be seeing a jump onto the spawn. It's going to be seeing our Archons, our Tempest continue to chase down for a little bit. Big storms, my goodness, on all of these lings. I mean, those are the kind of storms you need, but again, MaxPax's bank is definitely not looking pretty. 1k gas left over. He's trying to rebuild in carriers as well. The voidies on the way up. The carriers coming through too. Oh, we do have a ultra run into the top side as well. Gonna find a little bit more damage over here. A few more static defenses being knocked down. It's just knocking down, taking out whatever we can. Again, that's obviously very nice. We do still on the bottom side see this army of MaxPax kind of being chased away. Just doesn't feel like he's progressing anywhere. Arrows coming up, Corrupt is coming through. At this stage, I mean, with 36 minutes DF, MaxPax really is just out of gas, so anything he loses is nigh on impossible to replace, you know? So just the kind of thing where you gotta be careful. Let's see, our Fungal just gonna get a couple more of these Tempests caught up. Single Phoenix gonna poke forward and just gonna go after some of these broods. Chase those down a little bit. He's running in, the gateway is taking some damage. We do burrow up already, so burrowing to start off with. These are the zealots coming back into the natural expansion. Corruptors, Vipers, moving around just for the moment. Zealots taking a good chunk of damage as well. Just going to be seeing the storms coming out on that upper left-hand side. Fungal's coming down as well. There's some Neurals to go along with it. The Ultras are going to come charging forward. Oh, Void Rays. There's just no rebuild. I mean, Serral's maybe not even looking terrible in this fight, but like it wasn't even necessarily looking great for him. It was just the fact that there's no rebuild again from MaxPax. The running out of gas is going to be the top left-hand side of the map. We are going to have ourselves the red Zerg player. This from Basilisk is Serral. Up against the blue Protoss in the bottom right from Storm, this is MaxPax. Game 2 of best of 5. This underway, and we have a little peek to see what's going to be going on Babylon. Take this off when we get this rumbling. Magic Gasm Pool coming up, a couple drones coming in. Drones just building up, and our next is building on the natural expansion of MaxPax as well. So everything just kind of getting a go here for the first few minutes. Everything looking pretty standard. Wait to see what sort of tech choice MaxPax is going to choose to go for here as well. What I was surprised about yesterday was so many glaive builds again. But I think MaxPax is necessarily going to bring that out here. Just talk about PvZ in general for a moment. Kind of interesting that it almost felt like yesterday glaives was on a bit of a resurgence. And glaives kind of has this thing every now and again where like for a week suddenly it's really good again. It's like, whoa, glaives. And then we kind of back away once more. It's actually kind of crazy in that regard, as you just have Stargate continuing up, and And it's going to be a Stargate to open with here. Still, you could maybe play Starglaves or something, but I think the reality is we're probably going to see a fairly similar opening here from MaxPax to what we saw in that game number 1. Stargate coming up to completion. Adept has finished up as well. It's going to be seen how Warpgate is decent too. It's going to be moving around a little bit for the moment. As Adept tries to get up to the top. Queen and a couple Lings are there to deal with that initially. The Adepts coming through. You'll see me seeing our Queens going after the Adepts. Couple Oracles coming through. Warpgate coming in. Oracle activating. Couple Lings taking some damage. And Oracle about halfway through, the Warpgate finishing up shortly. Just going to be seeing this Oracle first of all, making its way across the map, try and see if there's anything it can find. There's a few Lings around, some bits and bobs here and there. Drones and Lings still coming up. Queen on the way, about halfway through here. Just got our Nexus still building on that third base location. And a couple more simulators coming out right now, so bringing up all of these. This Oracle around the top side, going to head in toward the main base. A little bit of a peek as to what is going on. There's Queens here immediately, though, and the Oracle going to take quite a few shots, getting shoved over to the sides. Forge coming in, couple probes coming through. Just going to be seeing our Stalkers, the Adept, all joining together. And the third Nexus getting settled at the front in general. It's just getting that up and running. Put a little Revelation down. Let's see, keep track of things just a little bit. As that Twilight Council still builds through, melee upgrade continues up as well. Now we do have ourselves the few Stalkers just poking around in the center, so MaxPax a little bit of pressure. 3 Oracles, very similar to last game. Went charged last game, not Blink. Maybe this time we could play Blink and play a bit more aggressively throughout the mid game. Maybe that's something of a plan. Stalker's going to go nibbling at this hatchery on the bottom side. Stasis Ward finishes up. Stalkers continue onto that hatch for a few moments. Couple Lings taking some damage, taking some hits. And the Stalkers continue to go straight after that hatchery as Stasis Ward gets popped. No Blink starting still. Twilight Council's been finished for a few seconds now, right? So, really could do with that Twilight Council getting a little bit of love. Temple Archives, Robo Facility coming up. Couple gates coming through. Stalker's going to go pinging away at the hatchery. Revelation going down. And just having ourselves the Temple Archives, Robo Facility all coming up. We've got our Lings still being hunted a little bit. Plus one attack. Charge all coming in. And the melee upgrade coming through too, as we just have ourselves the army of MaxPax still working over to the right hand side. Couple of gateways here. I'm going to get going down as well, though. Cheeky little Stasis Ward going to block one of those gates from dropping down. Storm still coming through, plus one attack and the charge all building up. Couple of Archons coming by as well. All of that looking decent as we just have ourselves the... I mean, honestly, building up into this kind of mid-game again, I think I would like to see MaxPax be a bit more aggressive in the mid-game, perhaps, if he can find a chance to go for those more kind of timing-based pushes. I know I said it myself, sometimes they just aren't there, the opportunities just aren't available, but I do think it would be beneficial if he could find some of those. I think there's a lot he could take away from it. We have that Storm finishing shortly. Serral is Just continuing through. Hive already on the way up as well. He's very happy to play a longer game. He's very happy for this to go on, even if he doesn't necessarily get too much done at first. Army chilling out on the bottom. Hive still coming up. It's going to be seeing a couple drones coming through. The Overlord roaches are all building in. So Oracle just goes back into the center of the map as well. +2 attack also still just being brought into play. Just bringing that through for the moment as Prism sits here. The Zealot sitting underneath. Blink and +2 attack continue up as well. So just still getting all of these upgrades into play. Finally, we're going to see that Blink from MaxPax. Did he go Blink eventually last game? I guess he did, right? After the Storm. So I guess this is again him just playing a very similar style as that Prism takes a lot of shots on the way forward. MaxPax has had a couple moments throughout this series where it feels as though he's just been a little caught off guard by, you know, something happening here, something happening there. Prism caught, you know, being paid less attention to than you'd usually expect from someone like MaxPax, right? Banelings keep on morphing. That Ling Roach Ravager needs to get a little bit of a push going as well. We're going to work our way through these rocks on the bottom right now. Open up this area. Spread around a couple different directions, and it is Serral looking to start being aggressive, looking to start jumping on this army of MaxPax, looking to see if there's some damage for him to do here. Stasis Ward going off, catching a few Lings. We're going to split apart with a few of these units as well, pretty much immediately. That +2 about to finish. Blink's going to be done soon. Couple of gateways coming up. And again, Missile upgrade, Adrenal Glands all coming out. Our Spire's on the way, about halfway done at the moment. That Zealot is likely going to go down. Storms. Again, a lot of the Banelings, honestly. Serral still maxed out, rebuilding as we go. Is still trying to push forward. I'm kind of surprised, still pushing forward. I guess he's got another round of Banelings coming through as Banelings keep on attacking. +3 melee, Adrenal Glands, Aspire finishing up in just a few moments. Banes are going to come crashing in. Going to knock down a cannon there immediately. He's just taking that one out. And a High Templar coming up. +3 attack upgrade coming through. So that's going to go bottom left, but they're going to run head first into the Banelings, man. I think one of the keys in this series so far for Serral has absolutely got to be noted. Just how good he has been when it comes to dealing with the freaking Zealot run-bys. I swear we've not seen a successful Zealot run-by in this match. Like, it feels like, I think at the very start of Game 1, like, we saw some good Zealots, but the later the game goes, Serral just gets so good against them. He's always got something, he's always in a good position for them. And right now he's in a great position to take down this base. MaxPax going to be losing this triangular setup. He's going to have to go to the linear upwards, right, up the right-hand side of the map setup instead. So he still holds 4 bases, so at least he has access to the mining, which he would kind of need to hold on to here. +3 melee, +2 missiles still coming up on the side of Serral. Red Aspire going to be finishing soon. Another hatchery coming out as our Lings going to go charging forward. The Zealots are there to push those Zerglings back. Just going to keep those units away. MaxPax is kind of holding on. I just don't feel like MaxPax's army is in the sort of position where if he has a good fight, he'd be able to push across the map and like really take advantage of the fight he's taken. If that makes sense, I don't feel like he's really set up for that at all. As that Banes are going to roll through. A couple of Zealots taking big hits straight away again. Ling's getting us around all over the shop, and it's going to take down a battery. Going to go after the cannon. The Banelings will continue through. Stalkers, Archons, Immortals, all taking some pretty hefty shots. Okay, I mean, Serral continue to do decently. Knocks down the Nexus, knocks down that pylon as well. +3 attack upgrade just now, finishing 21 probes. Going down for MaxPax. So only 54 workers remain for him. That's the issue. Serral is gonna nuke some economy, rebuild. Serral doesn't have a lot in the bank, but he's mining off 89 workers. So he's rebuilding. He's getting the money to rebuild pretty much every time, guaranteed. More probes, more trouble. MaxPax really not having a good time of this, as he is probably going to try and push up the top side. But the moment he steps foot on creep, you know this fight is going to be so much worse for him than it's already been. He's been doing okayish with the army, but stepping on creep is a completely different story, and there's creep in front of every base. So we're going to eat one stasis ward here. Is he going to keep on chasing? He kind of thought about it, but decides to back away at the very end of that instead. Few lings still going around. The pylon's still taking some shots. The Nexus is still coming through. The 36 lings and +1 flyer attack continuing to come into play. Still making use of that Spire in any way possible. As our lings do get a cheeky wrap around on a couple of zealots there. Banes are still trying to push on forward. As a couple of immortals will take some shots. This army continues forward. Just going to be seeing a couple of Archons again, able to push this back. A few lings are going to show up on that right-hand side. The zealots will finish. They will go after the Zerglings, cleaning up whatever is possible for themselves. 4 more High Temple are going to then join on behind that as the lings come over, looking for the wraparound, looking to get the denial on these lings, essentially. That's what we're really aiming toward. This Nexus is going to go down. MaxPax is 110 supply, looking to try and survive here, but I think Serral might just have a little bit too much. I'm just going to be seeing our GG called. Serral is indeed going to take a 2-0 lead here in this best of 5. Looking very convincing across the course of the ZvP. Up 2 in the top left-hand corner of the map will be the red Zerg player Serral, but apparently we're going to come down to the bottom right to do the intro of the blue Protoss player MaxPax first on the camera that I'm on. Well, MaxPax bottom right hasn't really had a great time so far. Dragon Skills, a shorter map. Maybe this will hold some potential, some possibility for him. Maybe there's a little bit of hope there. Guess we shall see. This is MaxPax. Did they introduce Serral and I just missed it? I don't think so, right? They just came down to MaxPax first? Yeah, okay. Okay, I see how it is. Natural and the natural. I'm just going to be seeing a gateway coming up, probe coming through. Having our dronies mining away for a couple of moments here, and again, the gateway, the assimilator, all the good stuff coming up for the moment in the early few minutes. See our assimilator going to finish. Gateway still coming through. The probe is on the way out. Just bringing all of this up. Another probe coming out as well. Is this live? Nope. As the title says, it is a replay. We'll have live matches after this series. WTL Code 8 today will be live. This was played on the weekend, but I was in Germany, so I couldn't cast it. Gas pool coming up for the moment. Queen's coming up, Drone Overlord coming in, Cyberco about to finish up. OV just coming overhead and having a little bit of a check around. Just seeing what's going on for the early few minutes. So, again, nothing, I don't expect anything crazy, honestly. And I wonder if we're just like, gonna fully send it on a Stargate kind of build every single time here as MaxPax. I do feel like that could be pretty reasonable. Speed comes up, warp gate comes through, and the drone just gonna come over, pop down, third hatchery. So Stargating it up again. MaxPax still sticking to this kind of idea of what we've seen in Game 1 and Game 2. We'll see if he wants them all goes triple Oracle into charge and storm. And so far has been a similar idea each and every time. This one Adept just gonna shade up and also try to find a little bit of what it can get up to just for a moment. So just going to ping away. Overlord is just going to take some shots and just going to be seen. That Nexus coming through. Oracle coming up. Getting this going as a couple of probes come around. The Assimilator coming up. Spores are on the way. And this Stalker is going to go after the Overlord here. The Overlord going to get pushed away. Right down the bottom side. So Overlord is going to fall. Oracle going to be moving around a little bit as that Evolution Chamber is on the way up from Serral. We've seen him play the melee upgrade a few times, so I wonder if this is just going to be a series where they're both kind of still content with the way they're playing, and MaxPax believes he can do things better. Serral maybe believes he can do things just the same or improved as well. Drones in production, Rotron coming up, melee upgrade still coming through. Overlord just about to finish up as well. So yeah, same for Serral. Twilight and the Forge a bit more in sync this time from MaxPax. I wonder if that's an indicator towards him playing Blink here instead of the previously adorned charge upgrade. Well, depths and different baits going to find themselves. 5-6 drones, not a bad way to start. Take those. And it is indeed going to be Blink. So it is going to be a little bit different than from MaxPax. He's going to play the Blink instead of the charge upgrade. Obviously, charge is kind of the newest style to play. Charge is something we hadn't seen as much of until very, very recently. Because now here you see that +1 and that Blink just continuing through. The couple of Oracles will work their way around the left-hand side. And we see the army of Serral still sat on the south side as well. Just a few units. Blink's trying to find an opening, but MaxPax's defense for the moment is stalwart. And he will not be moved off of his natural wall. Well, the upgrade's over halfway done. The Roach Speed now starting up as well. And we have the Baneling Nest also beginning. Just getting that underway. I was actually going to put some damage on the hatch. Obviously, if you can cancel a hatch, that's really nice, but I mean, one Oracle firing feels like you're just kind of wasting energy, energy that could be put to better use elsewhere, because that feels like you're probably not going to get the cancel, right? So if you're not going to get the cancel, it's not really the investment I want to see you making, I suppose, as our Lings wrap around to finish off this pylon. We have our +1 attack upgrade coming up, the +1 armor's coming through, the Blink is still on the way from MaxPax, bringing that in. Our cannon also on the way out here. So again, that cannon also coming for the moment as our Nexus is also in production. So bringing this through, getting this going. Wings on the bottom going to go grab themselves a Nexus. A little cancel gets going there. That will go down. Obviously nice to grab any sort of delays on the Nexus. Delays on the expansion right is typically a good thing, so good to be able to grab that as we do have Stalkers pressing forward. This Overlord immediately in just a little spot of bother is going to get dropped down, so that Overlord will die. As that Overlord goes down, maybe MaxPax can start getting some momentum. Serral's not supposed to supply block or anything, but you'll see these Stalkers able to get a Queen as well. Have to blink back from the Lings. That's what the Oracles are here for, to protect these Stalkers from Zerglings. That is one of the main goals of the Oracles, actually, throughout this Stalker phase. Keep these Stalkers safe. Don't let them get overrun by a cheap unit. Make sure the Stalkers have as much potential as possible. As Lings come in on either side, we're actually going to force the recall. A few Stalkers will go down. 1 or 2 Stalkers left behind as well. The Oracles died too. That's a little bit rough. That's Serral resetting a lot of the pressure which MaxPax has set in this game. By resetting that pressure, you really do a lot to slow down the... you really do a lot to slow down the... Protoss player and what they can do in the future. Through the middle, over to the right, Burrow coming up, +2 melee is nearly done. Just to see where Serral is at, his position generally improving right now. Queens might be able to get this prism before the warp in. Okay, the Zealots do get out, but nice to get rid of the prism at least. The Zealots everywhere though, and Stalkers on the right side, so this combo attack from MaxPax maybe holds a little bit more hope, a little bit more active for the moment. Two drones already going down. The stasis is going to be finishing. We catch a whole chunk of Lings already. Now these roaches are going to start taking hits as well. Lings coming in from a couple different angles. Stalkers keep on blinking back. Stalkers want to try and maybe grab this Overlord. Quite going to get it. Another stasis ward. Going to go off only on a single Zergling. Serral dealing with the stasis wards pretty decently. This one was a bit worse. The one on the left side goes off to a single Ling as well. Serral not letting these stasis wards act as the defense they need to be to help these Stalkers out. Stalkers being chased all the way down the side of the map. Getting pushed all the way down to the south. Kind of feels as though Serral is kind of just all over MaxPax. MaxPax is trying to be all over Serral. It's just not really going anywhere. It's not really working. Goes them back into the main base. Queens are here immediately to just say, "Nuh-uh, not here, not this time." Not this time at all. Missile upgrades still coming up. Our Banes and our Lings will continue to come through. Seeing our single Zealot gonna have a little bit more to say in the main. Ah, he gets a queen. Good job, Zealot. Oh my god, singular Zealots are doing more than what a lot of big Zealot run-bys did all series for MaxPax. It's actually crazy how little some of these Zealot attacks have done, as that's a good stasis ward at least. Colossus coming out. If you can, you know, farm this attack until there's a second Colossus maybe, that'd be a little bit better. Storms will just blink through. A Ling Bane gonna pop out of these stasis wards. We'll see what that means. Is another stasis catches just a little group of Zerglings. Stalker's going after a few more Zerglings. Just going to be having ourselves the Prism still being pushed away one more time here. And a lot of probes going down to the Bane lanes, man. It just does not feel like a pretty day for MaxPax. He just keeps on taking damage after damage after damage. Thermal lens, +2 armor, all coming up. +3 attack getting started as well. All the additional Banes coming out as Zergling's still coming through. You have more Zealots still also trying to get themselves across over to this other side. The Bane's going to come into this base down here, so they're going to make a play. As we are going to actually just have potentially this surround at the same time. So instead of Baneling's going to crash into a mineral line. Looks like MaxPax dealt with that decently. But can he deal with this? I mean, this is just so much Zerg. It honestly looks as though this is going to be game number 3 and series in Serral's favor. Kind of just like that. And I say just like that, not lightly, because Serral, I mean, he really worked for it. Just, yeah, convincing from him. I struggle to kind of really think of a moment where I'm like, oh yeah, MaxPax was in control here, or MaxPax looked really good there, you know? And Serral just continue to swarm units across the map. That is going to be GG's. And it is going to be 3-0 for Serral.